I woke up to a sound I didn't recognize, soft, high-pitched, almost musical. My eyes snapped open, and for a moment, I thought it was coming from outside, a bird perhaps, or a car alarm down the street. But then I realized it was me. My voice. The sound I had made when I gasped in confusion was lighter, higher, and completely unfamiliar. I froze, heart hammering. The sunlight spilling through the blinds cast slanted stripes across my bedroom floor, making the room look ordinary, but nothing about me felt ordinary. I sat up, and that's when I noticed the first difference. My hands, my arms, they were smaller, softer, delicate in a way I had never known. My chest felt strange, lighter, heavier? I didn't know. My breath caught. Panic surged. What the hell happened? I scrambled to the mirror, my heart thudding like a drum in my chest. The reflection that stared back at me was not me. Not the me I had gone to sleep as. My jawline was softer, my eyes larger, my lips fuller, my hair longer, cascading around my shoulders in a way that was impossibly natural. I stumbled back, gasping, pressing my hands to my face, as if that could make it stop. The room was silent except for my own ragged breathing. I wanted to call out, scream, demand someone explain what had happened, but my voice, when it came out, was that same unfamiliar, high tone. My stomach churned with fear and disbelief. I woke up like this? I stumbled toward the wardrobe, hoping that maybe, just maybe, this was some sort of prank, some weird trick of the mirror, some illusion. But the wardrobe was the same as always, clothes neatly folded, shoes lined up. But now, looking at them, I realized some of them didn't fit. My clothes, my old clothes, hung off me, baggy alien. My jeans swamped my legs. My shirts draped awkwardly over my shoulders. I sank to the floor, knees trembling. My reflection loomed over me from the mirror, the face looking back fully human, but undeniably different. Female, feminine, someone I had never been. And yet, as I stared, there was a strange curiosity stirring deep inside. A pull I didn't understand. My mind raced. Fear fought fascination. I shook my head. No, this wasn't happening. It had to be a dream. I pinched myself. Pain. Real. My heartbeat skyrocketed. The next hours were a blur. I tried everything, showering, brushing my teeth, getting dressed. Every movement felt alien. Even walking down the hallway felt different. My stride lighter, my balance altered. I caught glimpses of myself in every reflective surface. The bathroom mirror, the kitchen window, the shiny finish of the microwave, and each time my breath caught. I was undeniably her now. And then I noticed something I hadn't expected. My wardrobe, normally unremarkable, seemed inviting. Dresses I had never worn before, shoes I had never imagined putting on, even scarves and jewelry. All of it now seemed to call to me, whispering in some quiet, insistent way. I tried to resist. I really did. But the first dress I touched felt electric against my fingers, soft, light, impossibly right. My reflection in the mirror seemed to lean closer, eyes gleaming with some silent encouragement. I slipped the dress over my head. My chest rose and fell differently. My posture shifted without effort. The mirror reflected someone who was not quite me, and yet, somehow, entirely natural. I caught my breath, a strange thrill mingling with the fear. Hours passed. I tried on more outfits, experimented with my hair, adjusted my movements, my gestures. The reflection was patient, almost guiding me now. Every glance reinforced something I had never admitted. I liked this. More than that, I was fascinated, enthralled, even addicted. And just when I thought I might regain control, a soft, almost imperceptible sound came from behind me. The wardrobe doors creaked, gently swinging open, though I hadn't touched them. My pulse spiked. I stepped closer. Inside, something was waiting, a small box, neatly wrapped, a note atop it with my handwriting. "You're ready to see everything. Are you?" I froze. My reflection's eyes seemed to widen, almost playful, almost challenging. My hands shook as I reached for the box. My heart thundered. My mind screamed. I had no idea what I was about to find. And then I realized the person staring back at me from the mirror wasn't just a reflection anymore. She was waiting for me to step fully into her world. And I had no choice. Because when I opened the box, I discovered something that would change not just how I looked, but who I thought I had ever been. The world I knew had just ended, and the version of me I had never met was beginning. My hands trembled as I lifted the lid of the box. Inside, neatly arranged, were items I didn't recognize, or maybe I had never truly noticed them before. Delicate skirts, soft blouses, tiny shoes with slight heels, and a bundle of scarves in pastel colors. Each piece seemed to hum with possibility, as if it knew exactly what it was meant for. I felt a shiver crawl down my spine, a mix of fear and anticipation. I stared at the mirror. My reflection, or her, smiled, not mockingly, not judging, but with a quiet patience, like she'd been waiting for this moment far longer than I had. My chest tightened, heart pounding. I wanted to look away, to run, to ignore it all, but every instinct inside me screamed to explore, to try, to surrender to the pull. I picked up the first skirt. It was light, soft, flowing. My fingers traced the fabric, marveling at how it seemed to fit perfectly in my hands. Something inside me whispered, "Put it on." My breath caught. That voice, it wasn't exactly my own. Or maybe it was the part of me I had never let speak, never let be. I slid the skirt on, stepping carefully as my balance felt subtly altered. My reflection mirrored my movements perfectly. But something was different. This time, she didn't just mimic me. She guided me, leaning ever so slightly, tilting her head, showing me how to move naturally in this new body. My hips swayed, more pronounced than ever, my posture softening. A thrill coursed through me, and I couldn't help but smile despite the terror that still clenched my chest. Next, I picked up a blouse, light, silky, almost whispering as I touched it. Sliding it over my shoulders, I realized that my body was responding subtly, instinctively. My chest rose and fell with a new rhythm. My arms moved differently, more delicately, more naturally. I stared into the mirror, speechless. The person looking back at me was alive, not just physically, but in some deeper, psychological sense. Someone I had never known existed. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time had lost meaning. I tried on scarf after scarf, blouse after blouse, skirt after skirt, each transformation layering onto the last. I practiced walking, gestures, even the way I tilted my head. And every time I moved, the reflection guided me, smiled at me, approved. I couldn't stop. I didn't want to. And then I noticed it. A faint humming sound, like soft wind rustling fabric, coming from the corner of my room. My pulse quickened. The wardrobe, which had seemed ordinary just moments ago, now felt alive. The doors shifted slightly, revealing a shadow inside. Another box, larger this time, wrapped in pale blue paper. A note was attached, written in my own handwriting. "You've begun the journey. Are you ready for the next step?" I froze, breath caught in my throat. My reflection's smile widened, almost imperceptibly, almost teasingly. My hands shook as I reached for the box. Next step? What could that mean? My heart thundered. Fear clashed with curiosity, dread clashed with exhilaration. I wanted to run, to slam the box shut, to reclaim the old me, but my body refused. Something deep inside me, something I had buried, wanted this. I lifted the lid. Inside was a wig, long and silky, with soft waves that cascaded past my shoulders. Alongside it were tiny, perfectly shaped shoes with delicate heels. I stared at them, breathless, and a thought hit me so sharply it made my chest ache. I wasn't just experimenting anymore. I wasn't just trying on clothes. I was becoming someone else entirely. The reflection leaned closer, eyes shining. "This is it," she seemed to say. "This is who you were always meant to be." I swallowed hard. My hands shook as I reached for the wig. The moment it touched my hair, my body responded in a way I could hardly describe. Every nerve alive, every movement instinctively shifting. I felt taller, lighter, somehow complete. I glanced at the mirror. My reflection was smiling, fully, knowingly, approvingly. She was no longer mimicking. She was me, and I was becoming her. And then I heard it, a whisper, soft, almost too quiet to catch, yet unmistakable. Once you cross this line, there is no turning back. My chest tightened, fear and excitement colliding. I wanted to stop. I wanted to run. I wanted to hide, but my reflection held me in place, urging me forward. My fingers trembled over the heels, the wig, the delicate dress, the scarves, the tiny jewelry. Every item was a key, every motion a doorway. I swallowed, heart hammering, and realized the person staring back at me was not just my reflection anymore. She was alive. She was real. And she was waiting for me to fully step into her world. I hesitated, then reached for the heels, gripping them with shaking hands. My reflection's eyes locked on mine, patient, teasing, almost daring me to continue. I took a deep breath and stepped forward. The floor seemed to shift beneath me. My body adjusted. My reflection mirrored every movement, but it wasn't just a mirror anymore. She was guiding me, pulling me towards something I didn't yet understand, something I hadn't dared to imagine. And I realized, with a thrill that made my stomach twist, that nothing, not my old identity, not my old life, would ever be the same again. Because when I looked in the mirror now, I didn't just see a reflection. I saw her. And I understood. I was about to become her completely. And I had no idea what, or who, I would be after. I slipped my feet into the tiny heels, wobbly at first, and every nerve in my body seemed to ignite. My balance shifted, my legs felt longer, softer, and more graceful. I took a tentative step forward, and the reflection in the mirror, no, she, mirrored me perfectly, every motion fluid, confident, natural. My stomach twisted with fear and exhilaration. This was impossible, and yet every instinct in me said it was right. I took another step, then another. Slowly, cautiously, I started moving around the room, testing my new body, my new presence. The reflection didn't just follow. She guided, correcting, encouraging, teasing in silence. My heart pounded. I felt powerful, alive, afraid, addicted. And then I noticed the wig, lying there like a promise. I lifted it and ran my fingers through the soft strands. The moment it touched my head, something inside me shifted again. My jaw softened, my cheekbones subtly changed, my eyes widened. I blinked, horrified and fascinated at the person looking back at me. I didn't recognize myself. And yet, the reflection, her, smiled knowingly, approvingly. I staggered toward the mirror, breath coming in short gasps, every part of me trembling. The clothes, the wig, the heels, they weren't just costumes anymore. They were catalysts, instruments, each piece reshaping me, guiding me, forming me into someone I had never allowed myself to be. Hours or maybe minutes passed. Time had no meaning. I tried on dress after dress, blouse after blouse, skirt after skirt. My movements grew more natural with each change. My posture shifted, my gestures became fluid. I laughed softly at my reflection's encouragement, a sound that felt alien, higher, lighter, but undeniably me. And then the wardrobe shifted, not by human hands, but on its own. A soft creak, a slight movement, as if inviting me to look inside. My pulse spiked. I stepped closer, heart hammering. Inside was a small envelope, my handwriting scrawled across it. "You're ready. Are you ready to see everything?" I froze, hands shaking, my reflection's eyes gleaming, expectant. My breath caught. Fear and curiosity warred inside me. My fingers lifted the envelope, trembling. Inside were instructions, precise, delicate, guiding me toward a new ritual, a new understanding. How to dress, how to move, how to embody her fully. Each line seemed to reach into me, whispering, coaxing, pulling me closer. I realized then that this wasn't just transformation. It was awakening. The person staring back at me in the mirror wasn't just a reflection. She was real. She was me. And every second I hesitated, every moment I doubted, the pull grew stronger. I could step back and cling to my old self, or I could step forward and embrace the new. My heart thundered in my chest. My hands shook, but the reflection smiled again. Patient, knowing, insistent. I swallowed, took a deep breath, and reached for the next step. The heels clicked against the floor. My posture straightened. The dress swirled around me. And the mirror didn't just show me anymore, it welcomed me. I knew then, without a doubt, once I crossed this line, there would be no turning back. And yet, a thrill ran through me, sharper than fear, more intoxicating than doubt. Because the person I was becoming wasn't just someone new. She was someone I had always been, waiting for the moment to emerge. I stepped closer to the mirror. Closer. And then, the reflection blinked on its own.
Not me.
Her. And in that instant, I understood. The transformation wasn't just physical. It wasn't just mental. It was total. And the world I thought I knew had ended. The real story was only beginning. And I had no idea where it would take me next. I sank onto the edge of the bed, my legs trembling, my heart hammering so hard I thought it might burst. The room felt smaller, tighter, almost alive, like it was watching me, breathing with me. My reflection in the mirror didn't just mimic me anymore. She waited for me, patient, confident, fully realized. And the more I stared, the more I felt the pull. Something deep inside me, the part one had ignored, denied, buried, was stirring, insistent, unrelenting. I could feel it in my fingers, my toes, the way my chest rose and fell. The wig flowing over my shoulders, the dress hugging every subtle curve, the heels forcing my stance to shift. All of it was changing me, not just outside, but inside. And I couldn't look away. I didn't want to. A soft sound came from the wardrobe, a creak, almost like a sigh. My pulse spiked. My hands shook as I approached. Inside, another box, larger than the first, waited. Pale blue paper wrapped it carefully, and a note sat on top, in handwriting I knew but couldn't recognize at the same time. You've begun. Are you ready for the final step? My breath caught. Fear surged in me, primal and urgent, but beneath it, something else. Thrill, anticipation, something I hadn't allowed myself to feel in years. I reached for the box, fingers trembling. My reflection's eyes followed mine, gleaming with something that felt almost alive, almost human. I lifted the lid. Inside was a set of delicate gloves, a small pendant on a thin chain, and a compact mirror. Each item seemed to hum softly in my hands, as if it were aware of me, aware of what I was becoming. My chest tightened. My heartbeat thundered. I lifted the pendant and hung it around my neck. The moment it touched my skin, warmth spread through my chest, a strange, tingling sensation that made me gasp. My reflection smiled wider, approvingly, knowingly. I touched my face. My jawline, my cheeks, even the shape of my eyes seemed to shift subtly, harmonizing with the image in the mirror. I felt my body respond to each item, each movement. I could feel her guiding me, the reflection moving in tandem, showing me how to stand, how to walk, how to inhabit this new self fully. My legs moved gracefully in the heels, my spine aligned naturally. My gestures flowed, without conscious thought. I was no longer practicing, I was becoming. And then a soft whisper seemed to echo in my mind. Not words, not sound, but a sensation, a knowing. Once you embrace this, there is no going back. Are you ready to be her completely? My chest tightened, fear and exhilaration crashing together in waves. I wanted to resist. I wanted to reclaim my old self, to strip everything off and return to the person I had been yesterday. But my reflection, her, leaned closer, eyes bright, confident, daring me. My body moved toward her, toward the mirror, almost of its own accord. I swallowed hard, breath shaking, and reached for the compact mirror. My reflection leaned closer too. I pressed my fingertips to it. Electricity, warmth, a sudden jolt of awareness ran through me. She wasn't just an image anymore, she was alive. She was me, and I was ready to step fully into her world. I lifted my chin, heart pounding, and whispered, voice high, soft, but steady. I'm ready. The reflection's smile widened. Slowly, deliberately, she raised her hand. I mirrored her. Our fingertips met across the glass. And the moment they touched, the world shifted. My body, my mind, my entire being seemed to ripple and rearrange. Every inch of me realigned. My posture, my features, my very presence, everything harmonized with the image in the mirror. I gasped, breath hitching. I was no longer the person who had woken up that morning. I was her. Fully, undeniably, irrevocably. And in that instant, I realized the truth, so shocking it stole my breath. I had never truly been my old self. That person, the one I had clung to, the one I thought I knew, had been a shadow, a placeholder. She, the version staring back at me now, had always existed inside me, waiting. And the life I thought I had, it had been a prelude, because now, I was alive, fully, completely, and nothing would ever be the same again. But as I took my first full, deliberate step forward, a chill ran down my spine. The mirror didn't just reflect me anymore. It moved. And what it showed was something I could never have anticipated.